Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down how a detergent brand that's over 100 years old managed to totally win over a brand new market in the Middle East. And the secret? Well, it wasn't some fancy new technology. It was actually something way simpler. They just listened.
So let's just dive right in with the big question, right? I mean, how on earth does a detergent from 1907 become an absolute must-have for some of the most important, culturally significant clothing in the Gulf? The answer, as you'll see, is just a fantastic story of smart marketing.
And this whole story, it doesn't start with a product. It doesn't even start in a lab. It starts with getting a really deep understanding of a very specific, very local problem. It all comes down to the clothes themselves.
Okay, so let's get into it. On one hand, you have the men's thobe. This isn't just a piece of clothing, it's a symbol of pride, and keeping it that perfect, brilliant white is everything. And for women, you have the abaya. It's this elegant, powerful statement, and its value is all tied up in that deep, rich black color. The challenge for both? How do you keep these very specific colors looking perfect wash after wash? We're talking about more than just clothes here. These are symbols of identity.
So Henkel, the company that owns Persil, they went and did their homework. And what they found was pretty mind-blowing. Get this, 75%, three-quarters, of men were washing their thobes with a mix of detergent and bleach. Now they thought this was the secret to keeping them white, but it was actually doing the exact opposite. It was slowly destroying the fabric and making that brilliant white fade away. They were literally damaging the very thing they were so proud of.
And the story with the abaya wasn't much better. It was just as serious. The research showed that fully half of all women were using cleaning methods that were actually hurting the fabric. And you won't believe what they were using. Things like really harsh powders and even hair shampoo. Yeah, hair shampoo. It was causing that beautiful deep black to fade and was just weakening the fabric over time.
So, okay, you've got these huge problems that your customers are facing. What do? Henkel's response is the key to this whole story. They didn't just try to sell a generic, one-size-fits-all product. Nope. Instead, they just listened. And that's where their whole strategy kicks in.
They leaned into this idea they call the glocal strategy. And it's actually a pretty brilliant concept. It's all about blending the best of both worlds. You take your massive global technology and all your resources, but you use them to solve very specific, very local problems that you've learned about from really listening to your customers.
And this is so crucial. This wasn't about pushing a product onto a market. It was about pulling an idea, an insight directly from the customers themselves. They saw this huge unmet need and decided, you know what? We're going to build the solution from the ground up, just for them.
So what does this glocal strategy actually look like in practice? Well, it led to some brand new, totally game-changing products. I mean, they didn't just make a small change to an old formula. They completely reimagined what laundry detergent could even be for these specific garments.
First up, to fix that thobe problem, boom, Persil White. It was a liquid detergent made specifically to keep that brilliant whiteness, but, and this is the important part, without using the harsh bleach that was damaging the fabric. It was simple, it was targeted, and it worked.
But wait, they didn't even stop there. Their research also told them that men really liked a certain firmness, a certain feel to the fabric. So what did they do? They created the Persil Starch Spray, the very first product of its kind on the market. They identified a second problem and filled a huge gap nobody else had even noticed.
And for the abaya, they did something that was just revolutionary. It wasn't a detergent at all. They developed Persil Abaya Shampoo, a shampoo for clothes. It had this special black color lock technology to protect that deep, rich black, take care of the delicate fabric, and it even added a nice, lasting scent.
And this really gets to the heart of why this was so important culturally. A local fashion designer, Amar Murad, said it perfectly. Taking care of an abaya is absolutely essential to how it looks and feels. Persil wasn't just selling a cleaning product anymore. They were selling a way for people to care for a piece of their identity.
So, here's the million-dollar question. Did it all work? After all this research and creating these super specific, tailor-made products, did people actually buy them?
The results were, well, they were absolutely insane. If you had to boil down the success of this entire thing to just one single, powerful number, it would be this one.
Yep, 90%. Sales for the men's products, the Persil White and the Starch Spray, didn't just hit their targets, they soared 90% above their forecasts. And that was in just the first 4 months.
It was undeniable proof that they hadn't just found a small niche, they had tapped into a massive unfulfilled need. The Abaya shampoo was a huge success too, and it was backed by some seriously smart marketing. They did this amazing job of bridging the traditional with the modern. They had everything from TV commercials and viral campaigns to sponsoring a reality TV designer competition and even partnering with Swarovski. It was a masterclass in connecting a traditional garment to modern fashion and personal style. So when you step back and look at the whole thing, this case study is really all about the incredible power of listening. By focusing on digging up those deep consumer insights first, Henkel basically created the playbook for what it means to be a truly customer-driven company. They didn't guess what people needed. They asked, they listened, and then they built it.
So the big takeaway here is pretty clear, right? Henkel found a unique local problem and created the perfect global solution for it. And that kind of leaves you with a final thought. What local problem is out there in your world just waiting for someone to stop, listen, and create the solution?